Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. Today I'm watching Where is America by Mapman. The title immediately makes me think of how people call the United States of America, America, even though that's not the name of the country, because the name is the United States. To be completely honest, I don't know where America really is. The United States, the country, is definitely not America, obviously, but we have North America and South America. So what would just regular America be? Would it just be both Americas combined? Or is it one of the two? I don't know. Let's see. Link to the original video will be down in the description below.
America.
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 Americas.
Americans.
Latin America.
Americanos.
American.
Americano.
Merry-go-round.
Amerigo Vespucci.
And Italian.
Welcome to Map Men.
We're the men.
And here's the map.
Map men, map men, map men.
The United States of America is a 5-word country.
States, United, the, and of are all self-explanatory.
But people just call
But
it
the America
America.
part makes a lot less sense than you might think.
As we all know, America was discovered by Christopher Columbus in 1492.
And discovered is the right word because there definitely weren't people living there already.
And it was definitely him who discovered it, not the Chinese in 1421 or the Vikings around the year 1000. The China theory is heavily debated.
And it was definitely the United States.
Okay. I was going to say, I knew about the Vikings, but the Chinese, never heard of that before. So if it's heavily debated, then it's probably not true.
It's America he discovered in 1492, not some Caribbean islands.
Good to be clear.
But although Columbus had reached a new world, he never reached the realization he'd reached it.
He'd set out in search of an alternative route to the
Yeah, he
spices
wanted
of
to
the
find
East Indies
India.
and wrongly thought he'd found one.
And so he named the Caribbean islands the West Indies because he'd sailed west to find them. Which is weird because if he thought about it and he had actually gone around the world and hit the East Indies, he'd have hit them on the east side. So he probably should have called them the East Indies. So if he had been right, the West Indies would today be on the eastern side of the Indies, which is ridiculous.
But Columbus wasn't the only European who had a 15th century
Jesus.
midlife crisis that involved buying a massive boat and sailing west until he'd come to terms with his own mortality.
Just 1 year after Columbus first reached the South American mainland, Italian explorer Amerigo Vespucci got there second.
But the crucial difference between Vespucci and Chris, as people in the voyaging business referred to him, is Vespucci did know he'd reached a brand new continent, and word soon spread of an exciting new world.
So can we really say that it was Columbus who discovered it? Yeah, Columbus may have gotten there first. Technically he got there second because the Vikings got there first, but let's just ignore the Vikings. Let's pretend that didn't happen. Columbus got there, but he believed it was India, the East Indies. So can we really say he discovered it? Whatever, who cares? Doesn't matter.
Hear ye! There's a brand new continent we knew nothing about until now, full of gold and spices and exciting new vegetables!
He's just doing this in public. Oh my god. How do you have the balls to do this in public? Everyone's just staring at him like, what a weirdo.
Full of gold and spices and exciting new vegetables!
Map makers around the world.
Look at that little kid in the back.
Exciting new vegetables!
He's like,
Map
what
makers
the
around the
fuck
world
is
set
that?
to work creating new and up-to-date world maps, each with their own dreadful renderings of the increasingly but still not very discovered continent.
One of these map makers was a German called Martin Waldseemüller, who in 1507 had all but finished his magnificent new world map, except for one small detail: what to name the new continent everyone was talking about.
He very likely would have named
North
it
America
Columbia
and South
after the widely
America.
agreed discoverer of the New World, Columbus. But Amerigo Vespucci had some very clever PR people who were falsifying documents and spreading lies about exactly when he'd reached the New World.
And these lies
Oh.
must have reached the ears of Martin Waldseemüller.
You're listening to the Vespucci Hour on Explorer FM.
Amerigo, he got there first.
Because he made the
America.
fateful decision to label the new continent America.
Latin for Amerigo.
Waldseemüller published his map complete with an unnecessarily long Latin title.
Complete map following of Ptolemy, the tradition, and of Amerigo Vespucci, of others, also the illustrations.
If you zoom into his map and look carefully, you can
Good
see
lord.
the little word America in what we now call modern-day Brazil. It was the first time that made-up word had been used anywhere by anyone ever.
Nobody knows why
So
Martin
Brazil
named
is
it after
actually America.
Amerigo's fairly common first name rather than the Vespucci part. It's a bit like if I discovered a continent and they named it Markland instead of the more enticing sounding Cooper World Jonesania.
One part of the New World that Martin clearly didn't give much thought to was this bit up here, which he drew super small and super inaccurate.
So it may surprise you to learn the inhabitants of this area were the people who, centuries later, cared the most about this map.
Fast forward 500 years to the 90s. Throughout the 90s, the United States tried desperately to get their hands on Waldseemüller's map.
Because it contained the first
Why?
use of the word America, the US considered it to be their birth certificate, not minding that it had actually been given to a different baby since they had no qualms about swapping babies even though they were now grown adults.
At the time, Waldseemüller's map was sitting in a drawer in the private collection of Prince Johannes zu Waldburg-Wulfegg und Waldsee in Germany.
They wanted it so much, they paid $10 million for it, making Waldseemüller's map by far the most expensive map in history.
In 2007, the map finally earned its wrongful place on display in the United States Library of Congress.
Well, great. Now everybody there can see that the first place labeled as America is Brazil and South America. Doesn't that just make you look fucking stupid?
How a library was able to raise $10 million, we can only guess.
So how come America got to name itself America? You'd think that writing the Latin word America on Latin America would mean America should describe Latin America. So why is non-Latin USA allowed its A at all?
Part of the reason is that they achieved independence before any of the other 34 American countries.
In 1776, the 13 colonies that had been
So
known
just
as
because
British
they were the
America
first,
used their rifles to shotgun the name the United States of America.
Over time, the long name the United States of America got shortened to just America, which is how the English-speaking world almost exclusively refers to the United States today.
And as you might expect, or if you're an American, as you might never have given any thought to, this annoys a lot of people.
Whom does it annoy?
First, Latin America. In the Spanish-speaking
I'd assume
world,
everyone
the word
else
America on its own always
on the
refers
American
to the entire
continent.
continent, and never the country, which they call
Los Estados Unidos.
They even set up a petition demanding Los Estados stop stealing their name and get a new one right now.
With 308 signatures, it's surely only a matter of time before America concedes.
Second,
Only
Canadians
308.
resent the USA arrogantly naming itself after their shared continent, but not as much as they resent being mistaken for Americans by people who can't tell their accents apart and confuse them with people who serve cheese out of a spray can.
Third, British people. Couldn't they just keep calling it British America? It had such a nice ring to it, if you're British.
Fourth, Chris Columbus. If the Americans do insist on naming their continent after a European explorer, Columbus, lest we forget, was actually there before Amerigo Vespucci.
That is
Columbus
true.
had to settle for the US capital, a province of Canada, another country, countless other towns and cities, and a national holiday. Poor guy.
And lastly, Amerigo Vespucci himself, who died never
Yeah, I
knowing
think he
these
has
new
enough.
lands were to bear his name in so many confusing and overlapping ways.
So, if the United States of Americans did want to change their name, what on earth could they change it to? Any attempt at a rebrand would come with its own controversy, and of course it's hard to imagine patriotic Americans ever actually voting to be called anything else.
Even though it appears
just the United
that
States,
US
that's
Library of
enough.
Congress spent $10 million on a map that suggests its country gave itself the wrong name, it looks like the
I mean, the country is called the United States. Whatever, just call it the
USA of
United
America
States.
will go on calling itself America for many years to come.
Classic America.
So yeah, question, where is America? Answer, it's two continents. America is two continents, North and South America. And the country, which consists of 50 states, is not America. It is the United States or the United States of America. But it is not America. How would you call the people from the United States? Americans, yeah, that's how we call them now, but how else would you call them? United Statians? That just sounds fucking stupid. Whatever, just let the Americans have this one. You know what, I have a good idea. Split the United States between Mexico and Canada. 50-50. Now you no longer have an America. You have no United States. You have no Americans. Now you just have more Canadians and Mexicans. Problem solved. Sounds genius. In my opinion, that's a great solution. You can just get rid of the problem altogether. Well, anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, consider subscribing and leaving a like. If you're interested, why not watch this video right here? And with that, I hope I'll see you in the next video.